Welcome sa ato ang WinMath Everyday. This time, we are going to discuss about getting the roots of a quadratic equation by factoring. And in this lesson, we are going to include also in the discussion the techniques on how to determine the roots of a given quadratic equation. Now, when we say roots of a quadratic equation, these are the x values, no? For example, in this quadratic equation, x squared minus 5x minus 14 equals 0. So, we are concerned about the x values that we will use at the left side of the equation such that this one will become 0 for this equality to be true. Okay? So that is what we meant by roots of a quadratic equation. Okay? Now, we are going to get the roots of this quadratic equation by factoring. Okay? So, it is expected that this quadratic equation can be factored. So, this is my way of getting the roots of this quadratic equation by factoring. First, I have to make this. With the a value, remember that this a, b, and c are real numbers, and this a cannot be equal to 0 because if this is equal to 0, this term becomes 0. So this is no longer a quadratic equation, but this will become a linear equation. Okay. When a is equal to, for this example, it is understood it is equal to 1. 1 na siya. So you simply write, okay, the first terms of the binomial factors, x, x. Now, since the constant term in this quadratic equation is negative, and the second term of this quadratic equation is also negative, it is to be understood that this is positive and the other one is negative. Okay? So, our goal now is to determine this term of this binomial factor and this term of the second binomial factor. And how are we going to do it? Now, take note of the constant term. This is negative 14. Okay? All you have to do is think of the factors of 14. What are the possible factors of 14? You have 1 times 14. You have 2 times 7. And there's no other. Now, knowing that these are the factors of 14, think of what or determine which of the factors, when subtracted, will give this second term. Okay? If you have this, 1 minus 14, you will not get this. But if you will have this, 7 minus 2, that is equal to 5, or 2 minus 7, that is equal to negative 5. So, we can use this. How? Since this second term of the quadratic equation is negative, have the bigger factor be placed here. Place it here. And the smaller factor here. Why? Because if you are going to get the product of these two binomial factors, you will get x times x. You will get x squared. Then, 2 times x, that is 2x. Then, that one, you have x times negative 7, that is negative 7x. Then that one is 2x. This is negative 7x. If you are going to subtract them, you will get this. And positive 2 times negative 7, you will get negative 14. And we can say that these are the factors of this. But our goal is to get the roots. Now, equate its factor by 0. Okay? So, you have x plus 2 equals 0. Then, transpose this to the other side. Changing the sign, you have x equals negative 2. Then, for this, you have x minus 7 equals 0. Transpose this to the other side and change the algebraic sign, so you will get x equals 7. So, these are the roots of this quadratic equation. Meaning, if you are going to replace x by negative 2, this will become 0. If you are going to replace this side by 7, you will get 0. Let's check that one. If x is equal to negative 2. So you have this x negative 2 squared minus 5 times negative 2 minus 14 equals 0. This is equal to 4. This is 10 minus 14 equals 0. 4 plus 10, so you have 14 minus 14 equals 0. So 0 equals 0. So negative 2 is a root of this quadratic equation. Okay, you can also check if this 7 is a root. You simply replace x by 7. Then, once you get the value of 0 on the left side of this equation, then we can say that 7 is really a root of this quadratic equation. Now, for another example about getting the roots of a quadratic equation by factoring. For the next example, we have 2x squared minus 5x minus 3 equals 0. So this is different from the first example because our a value of the quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Our a value here is 2. In the first example, our a value is 1. So it wasn't very difficult to determine the factors of the given quadratic equation. But this time, it's different. It is greater than 1. So our a value is 2. Our b value is negative 5. Our c value is equal to negative 3. Again, we are going to get the roots of this quadratic equation by factoring. And in doing this, I gonna apply, or shall we say, I gonna apply this trial and error. No? Okay, so this is the technique. I have to make these two binomial factors. Okay, so since this is the third term of this quadratic equation, the c value is negative. It is to be understood that one is negative, or the one is what's this? Subtraction. The other is addition. So I have to write it here x. Now, take note that this 2 is the a value. So you have to decide which of the two binomial factors, no? Where to write this 2. Do I have to write it here? Or do I have to write it here? Will it matter? Okay, take note, this is negative 5. That's negative 3. So, I would have this written right here. Okay? And since this is negative 3, it is the product. Remember, it is the product. So, I have to pair this by 1. Okay, let us check if what we got is, or if these are the factors of this quadratic equation. Okay, so let's do it. 2x times x. So, this one, you'll get that one. Then, first term, remember the rule in multiplying by binomial factors? First, okay. Then, the inner, multiply the inner, so you will get x. Then the outer, you will get negative 6x. Then the last, 1 times negative 3. Okay? So, 1 times negative 3, that is equal to negative 3. 2x, the first terms, you have 2x squared. Now, you have two similar terms here, x and negative 6x. If you are going to combine them, x minus 6x, that is equal to negative 5x. So, that is exactly this. Okay? So, what we got, 2x plus 1 and this x minus 3 are the factors of this quadratic equation. You can check. So, for example, this one, if x is equal to 3. Why do I say 3? That is because we have x minus 3 equals 0. So, transposing this to the other side, so we get the value of x. So, x equals 3. So, use that in this equation. You have 2x squared minus 5x minus 3 equals 0. So, substitute. You have 2 times 3 squared minus 5 times 3 minus 3 equals 0. This is 3 squared, 9 times 2, that's 18, minus negative 5 times 3, that's 15, minus 3, that's equal to 0. So you have 18, that is negative 18, because negative 15 plus negative 3, they are having similar or the same algebraic sign. So you combine them and use their common algebraic sign, so negative 18. So that's, so 0 equals 0. So you can continue check if this 2x plus 1 equals 0. You simply solve for x, so you have 2x equals negative 1 because you transpose that to the right side. And whenever you transpose a term from one side, you change the algebraic sign. So you get negative 1. Now, you divide both sides by 2, the numerical coefficient of this x. So you will get negative 1/2. So this is the other root of this quadratic equation. Again, so for this quadratic equation, the roots are 3 and negative 1/2. My friends, if this video helps you, please like. And if you have some topics you would like us to discuss in our channel, please write it in our comment section. Stay safe.